Hello, hello, hello. It's Kevin here. Time for a video. It's been a few days since I made the last one, but of course it's Christmas. Well, actually now it's just after December the 28th, and it is supposed to be a week off for me. As if. Anyway, Cambridge 16, we're continuing. So we did Cambridge 17, we did the essays, we did Cambridge 17, Task 1. Now we're doing Academic Task 1, Cambridge 16. We did first one last week. It was the line graph chart, I think, about, was it household appliances? I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, this next one is the process one, the sugarcane. So first things first, as always, disclaimer, fair use teaching, etc., etc. Okay, so no complaining, please. And the next thing, we've got the criteria. Yeah, I think this is from test 2, is it? It's from, I think so, from test 2. Let's just have a look. Scroll up. Yeah. Test number 2. So let's have a look. The diagram below, manufacturing process, sugar out of sugarcane. Summarize, select, report main features, make comparisons where and if relevant. And that's basically it. Now, I noticed one of the problems with this one here is to get it to, over 150 words. A lot of this comes down to how you write your sentences. I mean, sometimes if it's a bit sparse, you have to fill out your sentences, such as, in the next stage, the next process is after this, when this is done, and then this is taken to a machine, and during this process, you've got to pad it out. Sometimes being concise, so you could say, initially sugarcane is transported to the grinder and processed. Okay. For example, you could say, in the first stage of the process, the sugarcane is manually transported by hand to a machine where the sugarcane is inserted to be ground into small granules or something, right? So if you compare those two, first one, good, too concise. The second one, you might have to pad it out in order to get to that word limit. Oh dear, sorry. Bit of a cough. Let me just drink some of my brew. Very good. So, you can see we've got the sugar cane. So the first part is natural, growing process, and you've got two combinations of harvesting, either this one or this one. Then into the grinder, it's crushed, purifying the juice, it's filtered, evaporated into syrup, centrifuge, drying and cooling. So this one's pretty straightforward. The 7. Now, sometimes if it's like a diagram, like a weather kind of thing, there's no clear stage count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. So for those, you need to be a bit cautious. But for this one, pretty straightforward, as I say. So let's take a look at mine first, then we'll take a look at yours. So if you're watching this on Parat, IELTS 9 Pro in Iran, if you're watching on Telegram in the group, these are 5 student writings from the Iranian students in the Telegram group. Anybody can join the writing group. The links below and in every other video also. So you can come and join too. It's first come, first served. First 5 pieces of writing I get, provided it's not somebody that's submitting writings every single time. Usually first come, first served. 5 get added into the file and I comment on them. Okay, so the link below, if you want to join in, feel free to do so. If you're watching on YouTube, the channel's called The English Native, though this is for IELTS 9 Pro in Telegram. Actually, I need to do some work on my channel because I've had all these other names in the past: Prepare OET, Prepare IELTS, English with Kev, blah blah blah, and the content's basically the same. It's just they were made for different people or different groups. So that's why they're under the general umbrella of my channel on YouTube. Anyway, that may only confuse things further. So let's have a look at mine first then. Okay. Right. So here we go. This is, oops, that's the wrong one. That one's yours. This one's mine. Okay. Now I only managed it to 156 words, and that's enough. But this is, as I say, you could pad it out with some extra words, but this would do, because this one is pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of information here. So you've got 4 paragraphs. You could put the overview with the introduction, because that's not really a paragraph, it's a sentence. In some of them, if there's more information, then it's a paragraph. But the diagram illustrates the various steps involved in the manufacture of sugar from a sugarcane plant. So there's not too much else that you can say there. For some of the graphs and the charts, there's some more information, but for this one, no. Overall, this process consists of 7 stages: natural growth period of the plant, and then the manufacturing process, which involves harvesting, transforming, finally turning the syrup into sugar. Okay, that's pretty clear. The first stage begins with sugarcane being grown over a 12 to 18 month period. The canes are then harvested in one of 2 ways: by hand, heavy farming machinery. After this, the stalks are crushed in a grinder, which results in raw sugarcane juice. And following this, the juice is purified by dripping it through a limestone filter, poured, evaporated to be heated, reduced, turned into syrup. Next, and finally, form a sugar. Now, you'll notice the transition words in this one here. So you've got first stage begins, then harvested, after this, following this, where it is then, next. You could put, and finally, if you wished, at the end. But this is what the examiner is looking for in the process ones: your connectors, transition words. First, then, secondly, thirdly, finally, next, during, afterwards. Okay, that's what you've got to use for your process. So let's have a quick look at yours now. Right. So this first one is way short. It's only 117 words, so you would automatically get you would get a penalty there, because it does say if it's under length. What does it say about under length? It says it's somewhere under length. Hang on, let me get my pencil out. Yeah. -1 complete band under length. Yeah, so automatically you're losing a band depending on how low it is. Okay. So, as before, we need the introduction and we need a clear overview. Now, this one is relatively straightforward. You know, the main trends here, it's just the different stages. The 7 stages, which includes blah, 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 and that's it. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so the figure illustrates the process of production from sugar canes. The figure, well, it's not a figure, is it? It's a diagram. Overall, 7 main stages are shown on the diagram. The sugar canes are harvested and after transfer to a factory under some process turns to sugar. Well, that's extremely sparse. If you compare it to mine, I mean, look at mine. I say, what do I say? 7 stages, natural growth, manufacturing process, which involves blah, 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 right? So you can see why this one's only 117. First and second stages, why would you look at the first and the second stages? Why wouldn't you go stage by stage? Behind the machine, after juices are produced, in the 4th stage, purifying juices are generated. Purifying juices are generated? Purifying juice? What? Purified juice is made. So, right, I'm not going to I'm not going to rewrite this and type it out. I haven't got time. So the purified juices. So the juice passes through the filter and is purified or filtered. So that needs rewording. That doesn't really work. At the fifth stage in the diagram, purifying juices, you mean the purified juice is heated to get a syrup, and then it's anyway. So again, there's some missing verbs here, missing prepositions, missing articles, verb forms. There's quite a bit of grammar here, needs attention, but main thing is it's way too short. Okay. Next. The submit now. Submitted to whom? Why does it say that? Simply the diagram. A procedure. Well, it's a particular procedure. It's not A, it's the. Produced and sugar obtained from sugar cane. Okay. Sugar cane. From an overall perspective, 7 main stages, step functioning sugar canes, then into drying sugar. Now that bit's good. But what's this next bit? That's not mentioned anywhere in the diagram. Nowhere does it say the quality and why should it be taken into serious consideration. What does that have to do with a simple report? I see this, I see that, it shows this, it shows that. Should be taken into serious consideration by whom, and why should it be taken into consideration? So that essentially here is meaningless. In the first step, after planting sugar canes, it's meant to grow, harvested on machineries on manually. Following phase for sugar canes. So this, again, this is 147 words, so it's under length. But you need to flesh this out. I mean, mine's only an extra 9 words, but mine does go into a bit more detail into what it does. Harvested in the following phase by crushing the cane, sugar juice, purified. So it is purified. Then you need to put your transition words first, then, afterwards, next, during, following, etc. So it was using the proper temperature, as opposed to what? Improper temperature? What does that mean? Evaporator, so after a centrifuge process, after a centrifuge process in which sugar crystals are separated in the final. So, articles, the process, the final stage, manufactured with, and where does it say anything about the quality in the diagram? It doesn't say anything about the quality. I can't see anything. It just simply says making sugar. There's nothing here about the quality. So I wouldn't add things that are not present in the diagram. That would not work at all. So I would not use that. So that's not too bad. It's better than the first one, but still it's not ideal. There's a few things to have a look at there. So on to the next one. This one's better, 172 words. Okay. Well, the diagram below shows a scientific process make sure sugar cane, the given picture. Right, well, I don't know why it's got 2 things here. The diagram shows the given pictures illustrate the process. So I copied this from what the author posted, so I don't know if that's supposed to be the title, and this is it. We don't actually, but that's basically saying the same thing twice. On the basic what? Of sugarcane. Manufacturing procedure. Well, it's not a procedure, it's a process. So we can take it out, and that is perfectly fine now. Process, 7 steps, beginning with the growth of sugarcane, ending by dried and ready to use sugar crystals. Okay. You could have maybe put a couple, including this, including that, but okay, that is good. So we don't need that. That first sentence there is good. That overview's essentially also good. You could maybe put a little bit more in, but still. Sugarcane should be prepared. Should be, or is it are? Are prepared. Why should they be? In the duration, 18 months, the grown sugar canes are harvested at machinery. Okay, has got some moves to AB undergoing. What? I move to a what? The harvested crops are moved to AB. I don't know, undergoing. I'm not quite sure what that means. So, I'm not quite sure what that actually means. The harvested crops are firstly crushed. are first crushed in order to obtain juice. Resulted juice is purified by limestone filter. Before the juice is heated to evaporate the water. Attain syrup and crystal. Attain? Can you attain like a syrup? Next, your crystal separated from syrup, from the syrup, because we know what syrup you're talking about now. Centrifuge. Process, crystal cooled and dried. The final product is ready for consumption. Okay, so this one's not too bad. It's not too bad. You just need to watch article use and verb forms, etc. But that's more or less. Just one or two little things. You know, your prepositions and this one, to AB. I'm not really sure what that means. Okay, so look at number 4. The flow chart. Well, it's not a flow chart, is it? It's not a flow chart. It's a diagram. Illustrates the way in which sugar is made from. It's not by sugar cane. Although 7 stages old in the sugar producing process, the articles begin with grain of a sugar cane, they were drying of sugar. Okay, that's good. Initial steps, it can be seen that after sugar canes grow for about 12 to 18 months, harvested by either human or machine, or human or mechanical means. No matter how they are harvested, they are added to the machine in which crushes the canes. So it's a grinder. So it's actually called, it actually tells you it's a grinder. Added to a grinder which crushes the canes and resulting in juice. So that needs to be reworded as well. Subsequent stage, go for purified processes, starter. That natural end there. What is resulted? What results? What results from this stage? That's the evaporator. Syrup in the 6th stage. Centrifuge is needed to separate sugar from syrup. Resultant sugar transfer is dried and then cooled. Okay, so that's not bad for word count. Again, just a bit of syntax here, some word order, article use, and prepositions. Okay, so that's not too bad. Now this final one here, 162 words. I think this is the final one of the day. Now you've got the figure. Well, it's not a figure. It doesn't describe it. It illustrates or shows schematic theme. What does that mean? Of sugar production from sugar cane throughout a 7-step process. 2 physical and chemical phases. There are 2 physical and chemical phases which take place throughout the production process. First, suppose that you mean the ripened or ready for harvested sugar cane. Physical phase starts at this point, or sugar cane cutting. Sugar cane cutting, what? Being cut into small sized pieces. Well, it's not small sized. Getting prepared for the first step. It doesn't really show you that, does it? It just shows you it's harvested, then it goes into a grinder. I mean, look at it. Let's have a look. It's simply harvested and crushed in some kind of a grinding thing. Yeah, that's it. It's not. It doesn't show you cut into pieces. It's just got harvested, and the canes are ground or crushed in a machine, some kind of grinder, and then it's purified, evaporated, etc. Okay. Where are we? Okay. The chemical phase. Well, it's not a chemical phase, is it? It's a manufacturing phase. It's a man-made process of manufacture. Is it necessarily a chemical phase? The chemical phase starts by crushing sugar cane and turning it into juice. Obtaining juice with next line filtration. The following step, the pure juice is heated in an article use evaporator. The sugar cane should be output of this step. Sugar crystals can be bothered. Right. Well, that's like crystals will be separated. Right. So what's this wood? You mean it is? Or are so also if it's blood crystals are separated, right? From syrup by centrifuging during a sip step, cooling and drying these crystals. Can't be bothered. Crystals. Turns them into the final product of the sugar production cycle. Now, brown sugar, does it say anything about it being brown? Let me hang on, put that into sugar. Does it say anything about it being brown? I can't see anything here. So canes, harvested, crushed, purified, juice evaporated into syrup, a centrifuge, separates the crystals. It doesn't say anything about whether it's white, black, brown, or even pink. Passing different steps of chemical purification. Well, it's not purified by chemicals, is it? So that final sentence shouldn't even be there because it doesn't actually show you that. So you need to be very careful about adding things that are not there. Right? Somebody else right. So schematic theme, different stages of chemical purification. Don't add stuff that's not there. Right? So it's not a flowchart. It's a process. Okay. Some stuff here. Where's the other one? Yeah. Oh yeah. Adding stuff. Consideration, specific, quality, acceptance. Right. So I'll just put mine up for the final one. Okay, so you can see it and read it. You should be able to see it all here. Okay. Introduction, overview, paragraph 3, paragraph 4. Right. Hope that helps. That's enough for me. Well, that's enough from me for today. I'm going to put the next task, Cambridge 16 test number 3, in the Telegram group. Links below. If you need anything, if you need individual lessons, my iTalki teacher profile is in the bottom as well. You can take a look at that. I hope it helps. And okay, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye for now.